Welcome to my classroom. I'm Mr. Phillips, and today I bring you a special grading live stream. I'm going to do a click, make sure that it is working, make sure my live dashboard is in fact ready to go. Looks like it is starting up. Let me explain what I'm doing as I'm waiting to check if our live stream is up and running. Here's what we got. Last week I gave a theme test on A Day No Pigs Would Die, and I have, if you see my mouse here, I'll be watching that throughout the day. We have 5 classes of stuff to grade, which is pretty good. It's a good amount of stuff. But I wanted to live stream my responses because I asked students to write the questions to this test. They were in groups. Probably had about 6 or 7 groups, depending on the size of the class, per class. Every class listened to the presentations that groups gave. They all picked a theme. And then they wrote questions. And then I took those questions, put them on a test, and here we are. Here we are. Hey, it looks like it's live. Looks pretty good. Okay, perfect. I'm going to switch back to this here so I can see everything. Where was I? They took the questions, put them on a very important document that I then compiled, and everyone from, let's say, G3 gave me their quiz, and everyone, after listening to the presentations, took the test. This does a couple things for me. There are 3 multiple choice, 2 short answer. The multiple choice is basically things like students made up questions and they came up with their own multiple choice questions. For example, if your theme was, I'm looking at my posters over here, acceptance of death, your multiple choice questions would have been having to do somehow with acceptance of death. But then there's these 2 short answer questions that I get to look at right now, and I'm grading those right now to see how well they did. The people who wrote the short answers didn't necessarily give me answers, but if those of you who took the test, those of you who, everyone wrote answers to the short answer section, but if you are good enough on your short answers, I can basically tell, okay, you know what's going on. I'm not looking to trick you. I'm not looking for, clever questions to dock points. I'm doing the opposite. I'm trying to see what you know. That's also why I have you write the test questions. But I'm going to finish up talking. I could probably talk forever. I'm going to start scrolling down. As you can see, there are a bunch of questions. And the first question, the only question that I wrote was, what is a theme? That was the one that I wrote. So we're going to start there, and we're going to go from there. Let's turn on the chat. Let's see if anything happens with the chat. If you have a question in the chat as we're streaming, please let me know. But let's go ahead and get started.
Kiko Barroso, please report to the front of the school.
Okay, pay no
Kiko
attention
Barroso.
to all the information going on above me. School just ended, so who knows? If someone walks in, I'll tell them, no, I'm live streaming, come back later. All right, here we go. Question number 1 for G3. What is a theme? A theme is a general idea or belief that the author is trying to portray. That's pretty close to what we had discussed. I asked the students for a definition. A theme is an important part of the story that is the main part of the book or chapter. That's how we used it. I'll give credit for that. It's not like the definition necessarily. Like this one was more of a definition than this one. But main part of the story, important part of the story, a general idea or belief. Okay. I'm going to be pretty generous with these. A main or recurring theme / belief that the author of a text wants to prominently show. Great. Recurring topic that is presented a lot. Theme, main idea of a section of a chapter. Main idea, okay. Big idea or main lesson of the book. Great. So far, so good. I'm happy with these. Theme is a background, like where you are present. No, that would be setting. So, not correct. Theme is a common thing or topic, kind of, that appears a lot within the book. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. The theme is a recurring idea throughout the entire book. Yep. So this person. Interesting. Hardships of your childhood blooms into maturity. This one is a theme of the novel, but I specifically said I want the definition of the word theme. So that's, while that is true, that is a theme, I'm gonna go, nope. The theme is the mood or feeling set throughout the book by the author. Sure, great. The theme is in a book. It is the author's way of giving a lesson for us to learn. Can be. The theme is the main idea of what the story is representing. Okay. The theme is a serenary. I don't know what they're saying. That does make sense. Theme is the main idea or a lesson that the author is trying to teach the reader. Main idea, yeah. Central idea of a story. Doesn't have to be the central idea. It could be, you could have many themes. But for this case, I'll take it. Underlying message, breaks cultural barriers, meant to have universal meaning. Wow, that's almost a memorized definition from what we talked about. That's an amazing job right there. 2 sentences, I love that. Main idea of book that it revolves around being nice. All right, there you go. Edits are pending. Let's save that one. Boom. Edit save. Let's go on number 2. So these ones I'm not going to grade because they are multiple choice. So I'm going to skip through the multiple choice, and we're going to get to multiple choice, and our first short answer response. Here's our first one. In the book, A Day No Pigs Would Die by Robert Newton Peck, why did Robert do his morning chores after discovering his father had died instead of alerting his mother? The answer to this is a couple things. I might say that his father would have wanted him to do his chores instead of alerting his mother. They kind of knew that he was going out. Robert could have wanted not to, alert his mother. They were definitely expecting Haven, to not make it much longer. So there's a few answers. Let's see what you guys would have said. Death is a natural thing, according to Shaker belief, and he still had his responsibilities, so he had to prioritize. Okay. I believe that. Robert did his morning chores after he found his father had died instead of telling his mother right away because he was expecting. Rob knew, K-N-E-W, that his dad was going to die, and even though his father didn't tell Rob's mom, his mom knew it too. See, this answer, even though it has some grammatical errors, I could be picky, but I know what you were going for, and it's not an essay. It was kind of this huge timed thing, so I'm going to give that one a +1. Not every teacher would do that. I don't know if I would do that every time, but for now, I will accept it. I think that when we are faced by sadness in our life, one way we keep our mind off of it is to work. Nice. The only way I would make this answer better is like connecting that to Robert, right? I think that we are faced by sadness, and therefore Robert then was sad and focused on his work. That's a totally believable answer. He did this so that is not a beginning way to begin your sentence. That's like a almost unforgivable. But we'll see what the answer says. I'm just gonna pretend that's not there. It wouldn't cause a disruption to them in the morning. It wouldn't cause a disruption to them in the morning. And because he thought he had to step up, and so he did the chores. This is what I was looking for. He had to step up. He did the chores. The first thing to do is the chores. I'm gonna give that one to you. If this was an essay, I would definitely have some problems. with that sentence. He couldn't handle telling his mom that his father was gone, so he did his morning chores to take his sweet mind off of it. Okay, I believe it. He was going to try to carry on with the fact that he was the man of the house, and before he makes his mom sad, he already has to do to be done. Great. It provided closure, Robert. Now he knew that he could provide for his family. He's the man of the house. Interesting. The idea of closure there. He was shocked and wanted to do Haven's chores for him. Since you do chores and eat. This is a great answer.
Matt, this is Brady. Do you copy, Matt?
Perfect.
Matt, go ahead.
I did this because he did not want to alarm his mother. He knew that he was now the man of the house and had things to do. However, he did not want to scare his mother. Man of the house. There you go. Robert knew this was coming and was prepared for it. His dad was gone now, which meant that all his responsibilities were now Robert's, which included his chores that Rob knew had to be done. Also, the mother was well aware of this happening and obviously was sad, but she had to keep life rolling. See, this is like your shining response right here. This is the response that everybody wants to see. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 sentences, 5 if you count this one right here. It's 2 sentences. Technically it's 1, but you could get rid of you could add in. Great job. Because, right, again, that doesn't really start the sentence. Because he knew that there was things that needed to be done, and he knew that this is what his father would have wanted him to do. That's a true answer. Grammatically, there are problems, so make sure that you have your answers correct there. So many people I got. Yay, one person watching. It's awesome. This is way better for me to live stream it than to actually. So this is actually what happened. Does it tell me why? Wow, they got the quote right. I wish I had the page number with that one. But if you get the quote right, everyone knows that when Robert says this, that means he's dead. So that's a good answer. Previously, Haven had told Rob that his time was coming to an end soon, so he already knew that his father was going to pass away soon. Interesting. Also, Haven had been sleeping in the barn because it was warmer there, and he did not want to get Robert's mom sick. He did tell Robert this. Okay. I don't know if he was worried about getting his mom. I wish I could give like half a point. Can I give 0.5? Oh, I'm gonna start giving 0.5s. Like that's basically right. 0.75. Oh, it doesn't do it. Come on. Oh yeah, it does. Okay. So if it's kind of right, I'm gonna start giving kind of right responses because I didn't know I could do that until now. Rob was in shock, so he did his chores before telling his family because he knew this day would come soon. Again, him family really tripped me up. I'll give it an 8. 9.75. I don't know, it's tricky. Grading's so tricky. Rob did his morning chores after discovering his father's death because he was probably wanting to act like it didn't happen, and he was trying to be a man and just move on with life. Apostrophe there, and didn't, but that's not my concern right now. Sometimes grammar can really hinder your responses, so be careful. You know the chores had to get done regardless of who did them. I really wish we talked about, the elephant in the room, which is the death, but he knew his dad was going to die, so he was not panicking. Okay, his mom maybe would have panicked. I don't know. He kept doing his chores. Didn't tell me much. 0.75. Hopefully I don't give someone 75 points. That'd be crazy. Alright, boom. Moving on. Number 6. What What were Robert's last words to his father after his death? Something like this. Good night, Papa. We had 13 good years together. If you have any of that, even if you didn't quote it right, normally you would quote it, put the page number, but since you didn't have the book, I'm not going to hold you to that. 13 good years. 13 good years. 13 good years. Great. 13 good years. Nice. 13 long years. I'm going to give this one half credit, because that's not what he said. That's kind of what he's implying. Yep. He also said he could finally rest. I do remember that. You can rest, and he did his chores. I love you, Daddy. No, they were not. Sorry. They were not ones to speak of their affections out loud, unfortunately. So sorry. So sorry. He said, you can rest now. You can rest, Papa. Good night. I'm going to mark these as wrong. Good night. I love you. No. However, if it turns out you can show me the quote where he says good night. Oh, wait, no. He said good night. I'll go. All right. He didn't say I love you, though. Although it's kind of a half answer, but I'll be nice. How old is Rob? These are the multiple choice. All right. How does Pinky's death force Robert to grow up? For this one, I'm looking for something along the lines of he had to do something he didn't want to do, even though he was sad. He had to do it for the good of the family. Something along those lines, right? Responsibility. Rob was forced to look beyond his friendship with Pinky and provide for the family. He had to choose Pinky or his family. He chose his family. Great. Pinky's death showed him, apostrophe S, that even though he lost his best friend, he has to be a man about it and grow from it. Great. So understand family comes first. Yeah, he knows that it was to help his family. So this is a run-on sentence technically, but the ideas are right. Pinky was like a binky. Ooh, metaphors to Robert as a simile. When he lost that thing in his life, he became sad, but he also learned to put his family first. Okay. I'll take it. I'll take it. Yes, I will. This one. He has to learn that there are some things that have to be done, even if you don't want to do them. Period. Even if it breaks your heart. I guess comma. Even if it breaks your heart. See, this is where these little mistakes really throw off your reader and your teacher. Period. Just get rid of and. Even if it breaks your heart, comma, you still have to do it if it's for the better. Good answer. Grammar needs a little help. It'd be interesting if I could Google if you're watching it. I don't really. What if I added feedback? Yeah, see, that's a little too labor intensive for the speed at which we're going. If I wanted to like click and it's like that would be amazing. You can do that on like documents, but not on this one. It'd be interesting to do that on documents as well, as like a suggestion. That'd be quick. He learns that he had to kill Pinky in order to provide for his family, and his dad said that he had to learn how to do things on a farm because Papa's not going to be around forever. Great. Interesting. This I is also a capital. It forces him to provide for the family. And. So if you have an and then you start with like he learns and you have a full sentence. This is a full sentence. And a full sentence, you have a comma right here. That's very important. Very important. It forces him to provide for the family, comma. And he learns that you got to do what you got to do to survive. Gotta is also very informal. So you would say he learns that you have to do what you have to do. You have to do, or you're going to do what you're going to do. Right? Slang in writing is really hard to get away with. Robert had to realize that everything eventually dies in life. And now, another comma instance, Rob would have to be the man of the household and provide for the family. Good. Remember, I'm not grading on grammar. Just on how well you answer the question. Eventually, grammar will matter. But for this, nope. He now knows that life is really not fair and things will happen that you have to live with. He had the choice to provide for his family or keep Pinky, capital P, as a pet, and he chose to provide for his family. Absolutely. It causes Robert to forget his dad for his job and learn. Oh, that's a really good answer. Forgive his dad. I like that. That's something I didn't even think of right there. That was amazing. Great answer. If you haven't read this book, I suggest it. It is very beautiful. It teaches him that he has to provide for his family no matter what the cost. It forced Rob to do the hard things just because they had to be done. Great. Because Rob had to learn what had to be done even if he didn't want it to happen. Correct. Reality just slapped Robert in the face. Death happens and Robert needs to learn to move on. Absolutely. I like the voice that this person wrote with. Well, comma. That's a very casual tone. Well, Robert was very sad and didn't want to kill Pinky, but he knew, and Haven knew, but he knew, and Haven knew, that it was the right thing to do. Also, if he wanted to be a man just like his father, he had to toughen up and start to act like one. You guys really know this book. He no longer has the same stability and has to learn to rely on himself. I'm going to give that 0.75 because I don't exactly know what you're referring to. Like, technically you're right, but anyone could have wrote that if, they wanted to make a wild guess. Like, compared to this one, right? Like, this one's very specific. This one's not so specific. It makes me question how specific you are. It helped him grow up and notice that everything does not go his way. True, but Grabber needs help. They killed Pinky in front of Rob. That is a fact. That does not correctly answer the question, however. Save that. Alright, let's move on. How would Robert have responded differently to the deaths of his loved ones if he hadn't grown up? Oh, that's an interesting question. So this one's going to have a lot of answers. The correct answer would be something along the lines of, you just have to give an example of like acting childish. For example, if Robert hadn't grown up, he would never have taken the deaths of his loved ones as well as he did. He would cry, swear, refuse to eat Pinky for dinner. If his papa died, he would not feel ready to be a man of farm. Great. He probably would have cried all the time, going into depression. He probably wouldn't, or would have never let go of the fact that his loved ones had died. Very true. He probably would not have been able to handle it. He would have shut down, not been able to function. I think that Robert would have gone to the barn and gone right back out again and told his mother what had happened, then gone into his room and cried. Okay. I think the beginning when he saves the cow is really his moment where he acts differently instead of running away. So these do make sense. He would have become sad and not have helped his family out on the farm. They would struggle with farming without someone to lead them, as Haven did. Great. He would have been immature about it, and he wouldn't have known what to do and how to do it. Probably would have cried. Interesting. A lot of crying going on. Well, he would have been heartbroken, never recovered. He also wouldn't have been able... Interesting, that's supposed to be apostrophe. He wouldn't have been able to take on the farm and help his mother with stuff. True. He would have cried and been sad, and they probably would have, right? Lost the farm because they would lose their main source of income. I'm gonna give that 0.75. I'm not exactly sure. Like, I know what you're saying. I just don't know how it follows from that question as much. Like, if you say something like lose their main source of income, make sure you explain what you mean. Otherwise, you confuse people. Robert would have cried more. He wouldn't know what to do, and he would be upset for way longer. Cried more, wouldn't know what to do, be upset for way longer. I'm willing to bet that Robert still would have been upset, and he's still upset that his father died. But he seems to be handling it really well. He probably would have just been sad and crying and not able to focus on anything else and not get any work done. Yep. Mourn over Pinky, Papa's death for a very long time. That's an interesting one. I'm going to give it to you because mourning is a very complicated process. Like, it probably takes a long time to get over those types of things. But it could work. Ooh, I have a visitor. Hello there.
Hello. Mind if I run a vacuum cleaner for a few minutes?
Sure. No worries.
Don't let me interrupt your solitaire game.
Yeah, no, I'm just doing a stream here. So let's do this. Let's just do the.
We had an administrator many years ago that would do that.
Oh really?
He'd say, "Don't worry, you're not bothering me." He'd just keep.
This is not forever. Folks changing like the weather. Cold wind and all around. Toxic people being severed, like leaves falling in September. Cold wind and on the ground. You can cut me down, but I won't stay for long. I'll grow back again. Oh yeah, my roots are strong. Let this be another knot to tie around my bed at night. I know I've lost the fight to erase your face, my mind. Awake, I lie here staring up beyond the sky. this be another knot to tie around my bed at night? I know I've lost the fight to erase your face, my mind. Awake, I lie here staring up beyond the sky. Oh. Like you, be strong to hold the powers of the sun. To dream, believe in strength. Now I'm the only one, only one. I was an ordinary boy until I broke the rules. My life destroyed, a life destroyed.
in my head again. You had your heart set on me, but these feels they come and go, and they come so easily. Tell me what it is about you that I can't forget, but you're breaking down my walls again just to set me free. Why do I, baby, why do I love the way you always leave me? Why do I, baby, why do I love the touch but never love the feeling? Why do I, baby, why do I love the way you always leave me? Why do I, baby, why do I love the touch but never love the feeling? Staying up when I go out, you gotta know I'm all yours. But when I say what's that about, you start slurring your words.
I wanted to let the
Seems so distant when I'm holding
I guess guy with the vacuum came in and it would have been super loud, but I'm back, so we'll keep going. I think the question we're currently on is what was the reason for killing the pig, and we have two reasons: kidnap babies and they were out of food. So that's the two answers that I'll accept. Since the question only said the reason, I'm accepting both. I'm accepting both of those for that reason, exactly, because there are technically two. Kill their game, so I had to kill her because you have plugins too. They didn't have any money to buy food, so they had Teal to sacrifice. Man, that's intense. Sacrifice. Sacrifice. The food is pig. Or sorry, I didn't mean to bang on that. It's a habit. Sacrifice the pig is food. They had to kill Pinky because they needed food for the winter. Great. They'd starve. I don't know if they'd starve to death. Maybe. I don't remember that detail. But absolutely, they needed food. They ran out of food in the winter. Pinky was barren. That is a perfect answer. Short, sweet, but gets both of them. Family needed food to survive. Didn't have enough food, so they'd eat Pinky. So sad. So their family can eat is only half an answer. So you get half credit for that one. The reason for killing Pinky was to have enough food for the winter because Haven couldn't get a deer. Because she was barren. It was 75% of an answer. And save. Alright, we're almost done with this first one. Oh, this one's a sad question. How did the girl who had an affair with Mr. Hillman and the baby die? And the answer, the baby died from drowning. The girl who had an affair died from being hanged by herself. Interestingly worded. The girl drowned the baby and hung herself. That is the correct, very sad answer. I remember talking about this one in class, and we kind of really took a serious approach about why someone would do this and like what the affair resulting in the baby. And Mr. Hillman didn't come forward, and it had such a huge effect on the community. Like her parents had to move away, and then Mr. Hillman, had his response that we talked about. It's half an answer. But yeah, I was impressed with the way we talked about this half an answer when we talked about it. But yeah, but this is one of that was chapter 8. Okay, half an answer. That is true, but it's only half. They died. Thank you. That is incorrect. He was trying to himself. Good. Save. Almost done with the first class. Let's go. Then I'll take a little break. The phone's been ringing, so I'm gonna just check it. It's good to take some, you know, breaks every once in a while. Every now and again, just take some breaks. Will Robert continue to live up to his father's expectations in terms of taking care of the farm? Ooh, good question. These will have to read a little closer. Robert will continue to live up to his father's expectations in terms of taking care, not car, taking care of the farm, because he has showed that he can in many different ways. Okay. Could have been more specific, but that's the right answer. Or if you think yes, right? I'd be interested if anyone says no. He knows what to do. Plus, in the last couple of months, he has really developed as a man and continues every day. Just forgot a little V in every day there. Yes, because his dad, no, capital please, his dad prepared him to take care of the farm and his family. Oh. Yes, Rob wants so much to be like his dad that he will probably live up to. Probably. Okay. Yes, because even though his dad is dead, he still continues to make decisions on his own and keep up on all the work on the farm. I wish this one had more explanation. This is like, yes, because yes, you know. I'll give it points, but I think yes. I, capital, please, think that he will live up to his father's expectations. But why? Why? I forgot that part. Yeah, Rob is a good, smart boy, and I don't think he will have any trouble living up to expectations his father left for him. Because, this is kind of a run-on-y sentence, though. It's a big one, long sentence with no period. Because Rob learned a lot of good lessons from his dad and will be able to take them into action. We'll work out on the grammar later. Work on the grammar later. For now, I'm just looking, do you know your stuff? The answer is yeah, I know my stuff. Robert will live up to his father's expectations in terms of taking care of the farm because he has grown up. Robert's matured. Good. His dad showed him to take care of the farm since he's a little kid. Yeah. He will, period. Or, yeah. We need to work on the grammar here. He will because Rob aims to be a great farmer, just like his father. Aw. Yes, because all of his life he has been trying to make his dad proud, and now this is his chance. Yes, because his dad was the one that taught him how to be a man and how to live on a farm and take care of his family. Robert will, because Haven knew his death was coming and prepared Robert to take over. Great. I think Robert will continue living his father's expectations. This was shown towards the end of the novel when Rob found his father dead but continued doing the chores. Okay. I like this detail. This was shown towards the end of the novel when Rob found his father dead but continued doing the chores. I think so. Because it's one of the worst, that's one of the things that Haven wanted before he died. His last dying wish. Again, some punctuation, class. Class, we need to punctuate better. I think he will because he learned and soaked up all that Haven taught him. And has done everything he's supposed to be doing as of the moment. Given that it will not be perfect, but it will do. I see what you're saying there. Good effort on putting it all together. I would read through it again and make sure it sounds good. Because that tripped me up, especially this middle one. And has done everything. Not really clear. Yeah, he most likely will judge him by the standards of his father. Okay, very casual. Yes, I believe that Haven Peck has taught his son very well. Pretty close. Save. Alright, let's see how many we got left. 1, 2, 3, 2 more. And then we'll take a break. We'll see how many I do. I don't want to be on here too long. It's Monday. I still have a lot to do today. Alright. Let's get on it. What do you think some of the main themes are? What are some of the most important themes. Explain in full sentences. Oh, tricky. Themes, alright. Standing strong hardships, most important themes. They're common theme in many books and represent much differently in the Dana Pigs Who Die. Let's fix that one. I believe that the most important theme is growing up. I think this is because throughout the whole book I've realized that he is continuously growing up and learning how to be a man. Okay? Death, growing up, being a man. This is not full sentences. I'm going to go 0.25. Very casual. I recommend not using casual language. Considering everyone literally says the same thing, the main theme would be growing or maturing. Interesting that you notice a lot of people thought that. The theme is growing up and maturing because of all the events. Don't forget your period. I think that some of the main and important themes of manhood and death. Really, manhood and death aren't a theme in and of themselves as much as ideas. Because Robert said I'd turn him into a man. Death because Robert learned that death is part. Unfortunately worded. I'm gonna give you 8.8 out of 1. Oops. Really would not be good during an essay. Alright, some of the main themes are respecting death. See, respecting death is more of a theme than death is. And happy innocence. The entire book is about death and Robert turning from innocent to knowing about life and the penalties it has. Growing up, hardships, maturity. See how growing up and hardships causing maturity is more of a theme than just death, right? If you see that. If you don't see it, maybe we'll talk about it. Next, I thought that. Most important themes were growing up, happy innocence, and respecting death. Pretty important. I believe growing up is the main theme because all of Robert's experiences forced him to grow up. Some of the main themes were growing up, manhood, etc. Manhood is not necessarily a theme. Growing up is kind of a theme. Could have been better, more worded, right? Growing up into manhood or something along those lines. Some of the most important themes that he was growing up and waiting to meet his dad's expectations. Like meeting expectations. Growing up and meeting expectations is much better of a theme than just all of those by themselves. Some of the themes are hardships cause maturity, growing up because of incidents. 0.75. The theme I personally think is the most important is how he grew up to be a man. Being a man is really difficult because you need to know a lot of things like helping your family and etc. One of the main themes would be life events cause people to grow faster. This is one of the most important themes. Sure. It's a great theme. Life events cause people to grow up faster. And then since you started it with a quote, just so it makes sense, you should end it with a quote as well. The most important themes are death, growing up and moving on. Kind of. Hardship, maturity. Hardship causes maturity. This causes this. Otherwise it sounds weird. Hardship causes maturity. Hardship causes maturity. In the book, comma, 2 of the hardships were Pinky's death that took a real toll, T-O-L-L, on Rob. And Rob's dad dying, so I would put a period, just get rid of the word and. Rob's dad dying was even a bigger toll on him, comma. And at the end, comma, sometimes you don't put the comma right here, but I kind of like it. At the end, comma, it all led to his maturity and taking care of the farm and taking care of his mom and caring. A lot of ands there, but you're correct. I think one of the things, respecting death, Robert demonstrates TES throughout the book. I think this is the most important thing. Thank you. Hardships cause people to grow up and mature due to the things they go through. I think that everyone prepares or doesn't according to the things they go through throughout their entire life. All right. Save that one. Last question for this class. Rob talked to his dad on the last page after he was buried. He did the same thing after his dad put Hussy out of her misery. Why do you think he talked to them after they were buried? Explain. Ooh, this one should be good. He talked to them because he was growing up and wanted to say goodbye and remind himself how important they were. As people, absolutely. I think Robert is trying to make himself feel at peace with their deaths by sort of talking himself through it. Reasonable and sweet. I believe, there's a lot of thinking, believing. I believe that Rob talked to his dad and Hussey after they were already buried as a way of paying respects. I believe, B-E-L-I-E-V-E. See, Belevi looks kind of weird. Believe. He thinks that if he talks to people or animals after death, they aren't really gone. Okay. I kind of think, I disagree a little bit. I think he thinks that they are gone, but maybe that, like, he's okay with it more, or he feels connected with them still. Yeah. But that's still the correct answer. Well, he wanted to say him goodbyes. He wanted to say his goodbyes and tell them something that he thought was important or something. See, if you have a good answer, don't water it down by saying or something at the end, right? He wanted to, this unfortunate G right here, he wanted Grand Theft Auto, no. He wanted to make sure with an E he was okay. I don't know if I know what you mean there, sorry. Robert said different things, but it was the same type of last words. I think that it is a kind of send-off and last goodbye. Absolutely reasonable. Great answer. Rob basically said a prayer. Or, like a little message, even though he knew they were gone. I think he talked to his father because he was a loved one, but he talked to Hussey because he thought that she was a wonderful, spunky dog, not a fog, that deserves better. Great answer. Even though there's a fog there, that doesn't really distract me. It's actually kind of funny. But, you know, in an essay, you would never want that. Because this provided closure to him. You're absolutely right. But I'm giving you 0.75 because, not 75, 0.75 because it's not a full sentence. Because this is the way that the dad would have wanted him to say something. Perhaps, but it's not a full sentence. 75. Nope. 75. I think that he was paying his respects to them after they passed, and I think he's sorry and didn't want to see them go. Yeah, that is sad. I think Robert talked to his dad and Hussey after they died because what he had to say to them. I don't think he was strong enough to say the things he wanted to say to their faces. Interesting. So if they were alive, your argument is he wouldn't have said it anyways. That's very interesting. To sort of give himself peace over the event. To sort of, if you start with to or because, usually it's not. There are exceptions, but full sentences don't start with to or because. Because he wanted to talk to them one last time before they were gone. Oh. 0.75. Write in complete sentences, you'll get your points. He wants them to be sent away with good feelings. Also, it is the polite thing to do. Okay? He wanted them to know that he was proud of them and that he would miss them. Sure. To show some respect and to say how much they meant to him, right? To show some respect is not a full sentence, but next time you'll know that, hopefully. I think he talked to them after they were buried because he wanted to say his final goodbyes. Absolutely. Because he missed them and wanted to communicate with them and explain to them that it was time for them to go and there was nothing anyone could have done about to stop that. Interesting. I would argue back that yes, nothing could have been done about his dad, but he does feel a little upset when Hussey dies. So there's because she didn't necessarily have to. They didn't have to weasel a dog, right? And I think he kind of feels that a little bit. All right. Boom. G3 tests are done. They are in the books. So let me do this. I'm going to X out of that. Everything is saved. My phone has been blowing up. So here's what I'm going to do, guys. Since it's close to an hour, I'm not going to go over an hour streaming at a time. That's a little ridiculous, unless there's, a watch party or something going on with me. So please watch back through this. I'll probably only do another live stream for this one. I might do one for this. I might do some for essays. Essays are harder because I don't want to have like your name on it. This is nice because it is anonymous. So let me know what you think. If you liked this and you made it through all 55 minutes, like, wow, you're amazing. You're an amazing person. Thank you for hanging out, and maybe you did some homework while you were watching. You know, maybe you learned something about the book or what a theme is. Maybe you got a better idea and understanding of what your classmates are writing and saying. So that's all I'm going to do for today. Thanks for hanging out. Come back and see me anytime, and I will see you at another stream. Bye, guys. Have a great and wonderful day.